Nicholas Prostakis, and
Sebastian Minnesota.
today we're going over Thursday's amazing games for one, not so good for another. How are we feeling today, though, Sebby?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good. Of course, my team got a nice win. Probably one of the hardest games they'll have in the group. They play, I think, Heidenheim in Germany will be their hardest game. But in my opinion, this probably will be the hardest place to play. Greece not an easy place to play. Speaking of, you also had a hard place to play.
Yeah, I mean, Turkey is never easy for anybody. Um, if I come back to my last week with a 1-0 win, we were wrong. But, we'll get into that when we get into that.
Yeah, 1-1 is what your result was. Of course, at one point it looked like you might have been able to hold on in that first half. It looked like you were pretty poor, to be honest, in the first half. But we'll get into it in just a second. We'll get more into this Chelsea 4-1 win to start. A comfortable win. Comfortable as it gets. There's really, when you think about teams and how they get into gear in games, it was almost too easy. The first 10 minutes of this game, it felt like Chelsea were wow, it's going to be a shocker. This was also the same game. This was the first game back after George Baldock. Did you hear about that? The guy on Panathinaikos who died.
Oh, no. That's
He was
unfortunate.
31. He I think he said he drowned or I don't know the specifics, but he died. He was a player on the team who died. He also played for Sheffield United, I think, last season. But he did pass away sadly, so rest in peace to him. But the first 15 minutes, it looked like they really were going to, be the better team. But really, after the first 15 minutes, it was it was literally smooth sailing. Chelsea got a goal, I think, around 22 minutes in. João Felix flicked on a header to Mudryk, who, well, speaking about Misha in a second, man, but dude, doesn't get much better than how he performed today. Misha was great. He put in a good ball into João, who got a goal,
So you got
and
a,
then
is it a
basically
goal and assist for him?
he had a
Or two
goal and
goals?
two
Two
assists.
assists.
Of course, like the second goal or the third goal that we scored in this one was the João Felix
Mm-hmm.
deflected goal.
A little
So
lucky.
he got an assist on that, even though it was a
It's
pretty
more of an assist
atrocious.
for the defender.
Yeah, because of course it hits off his foot and then goes in the back of the
Yeah.
net. The goalie can't do anything about that.
No.
Just realized that the goalie's number 69. That's crazy.
Mm.
But looking at the overall statistics of this match, I mean, it looks like a formation based off of not what you'd be expecting. This wasn't the lineup I had all really
Yeah, no,
predicted
you didn't
going
have
into this one.
Kukare in there, did you?
I didn't think. Well, we obviously put this out a day before we really got the lineups for the game, I think we put it out on Tuesday, and of course they didn't fly until the day before,
Yeah.
so we really weren't sure who was going to be there. Um, Cucurella came. Malo Gusto, who I had at right back, didn't play. He wasn't actually here. He was back home in Cobham, so he didn't even have a chance of playing. Um, Lavia, Palmer, and Fafana are all also not in this competition.
Makes sense, yeah.
And Reece James also did not travel. And Caicedo didn't travel.
It's a little
So,
funny how Reece James gets a start against Liverpool and then doesn't play
well,
against
I think
this
that
great
also
team.
has to do with the fact that Maresca said he really only can play one game a week
But
right
you,
now.
you would think that he wouldn't play at all Liverpool. I mean, we didn't
Oh,
expect
I didn't expect him to play until
exactly.
November. I
So
think
maybe
anyway. I thought he was going to play, but
you would think
practice maybe.
yeah, you think that he play this game. It's a little easier, obviously.
I think he'll be the
That's
starting right back.
just a little funny to think about.
Little prediction for later in the episode. I think he will be the starting right back for Sunday's game against Newcastle, but that's for then. So it was overall though. I got most of the attack right. I had basically the front four. The only guy I don't think I had in my starting lineup was Enzo. Enzo didn't obviously start the game on Sunday against Liverpool last week, but he did start today. I thought it made sense. Some people were trying to say whether it was he didn't start because on Sunday because of the South American games or something. But Caicedo, of course, played in those same exact tournament, and their flights are basically the exact same distance. So it really didn't make a whole bunch of sense. It's either one or the other. Lavia came straight back in and looked amazing. So it's really going to be interesting to see who does play next to Caicedo on Sunday. So it'll be hard pick for him because of how well Enzo did play in that sixth role in this game. But again, it's against Panathinaikos, dude. You know,
Yeah, Enzo's no
if
good anyway.
your bias comes into the mix, especially after we take about Caicedo. But um, it was a
I
really
mean,
good game.
from what you've said, just in the past, that Caicedo does a little better without Enzo. That's just
We talked about this
I
statistic,
just
I think.
want, I don't really care about Chelsea, obviously, but as long as Caicedo does well and he wins and he gets top match rating, that's all I care about. They can lose
Well, he's
every
been
game, but as long as he puts in 10 out of 10 tackles, I'm good. I'm happy.
he's been incredible all season, Caicedo, and this probably was Enzo's best performance of the season. And people were saying that this was probably the closest he's played to his best role as like a deep lying playmaker, as like the base of your midfield next to your center backs.
Hmm.
That's basically who he was playing in this one because I don't think playing Dewsbury Hall and Enzo works in a normal Premier League team. They're just not defensive midfielders. And the way this formation set up was just like, what the hell just happened? The way this formation setup works, I don't think would ever be. It does. First of all, a 4-2-2-2 is how it says. It was more of a 3-3-4, I guess. Three center backs, three midfielders, and like your wingers and your mix of strikers and attacking mid. But overall, dude, I mean, looking overall statistics, guys like João Felix, obviously the 2 goals, he was fantastic. Especially after he wasn't as well playing in the Premier League. Misha, a great performance from him. You see via his heat maps, he was basically that left-sided guy, but if that's obvious. A goal and 2 assists is nothing to slouch about. He was fantastic. You'd love to see him take on guys more. I talked about this in my YouTube video a little bit, but um, we were the better team. It was as simple as that. We're now top of the Conference League charts, and of course,
Whoa, calm down.
oh, I know.
What an
I know.
achievement.
Big
Look at those
upset
teams.
here. Big upset here.
Look at those teams. Legia, Hearts, Rapid. Oh god, that looks like a
Don't
simulated
think about Jagiellonia from Poland,
Jack-
bro.
This is
Jagiellonia.
this is a simulation, bro. This is not
Oh, don't
real.
forget about Borak either.
This is
Big
like
one.
when the teams can't get the licenses
Yeah, this is what
for
their
certain
teams' names are in
others.
FIFA when they have to like get a random ass league name for
Diamante
Germany or something.
Calciao.
What do they call the Roma one? What do they call? Isn't there one for Roma too, or
What if-
something? I don't know what they are.
like Julius Caesar FC for all we know.
The Roman Empire FC.
Roman Empire. The Byzantine,
Yeah.
that's what they're called.
That's what they call Panathinaikos if they had the Greek league, I think, in FIFA or something.
Exactly.
Um, but overall, man, like it's obvious. This is a predicted result. We expected to go into this game winning. It was that simple. I don't think anybody in this game gets below a 7 average rating because we never got out of first gear and it was so easy. Like Jorgensen had that one save in the first minute of the game, and then literally after that had no challenges.
Are you
I also want.
are you upset that you didn't get the clean sheet though?
Oh, of course, of course. It's because like the guys literally you take your eye off the the play like for
For like
1 second,
second, yeah.
and you just get counterattacked. It was just basically the guys were just getting out of position and doing whatever they wanted.
Get a little
It was
lazy.
free scrimmage. It could have been an easy 4-0 win, but it's as simple as this. I also wanted to bring up that like, the goal scorer was Facundo Palestri, and of course
It's ex
Facundo
United.
Balestre used to play the ex-United player, so it's
Mhm.
funny that he was the guy who got the goal for them. And what makes it even more funny is he was the guy who got subbed off the minute later. He got their goal and then literally got the axe immediately. So, but overall, it was a fantastic game.
Yeah,
Outside of the fact that we didn't have many shots, in a way, it was only 14, but almost all of our shots were on target with 9. So we made count. All of our shots were good ones, and all of them were on target. But to be honest, when it comes to these 6 conference league games we have to play, we're not going to lose any of them.
Yeah, no.
If we even draw one of them, it's a tragedy. It's not a good result.
Yeah.
Like, even if we dominate it, you're going to find a way to put the ball in the back of the net.
I think the if a small team were to be a bigger team in like the Champions League, I don't think that would get as much recognition as Chelsea losing in the Conference League.
God.
If you guys lose, I mean, people are gonna be like,
They're going to laugh at us.
they're gonna laugh. I mean, Tottenham when they lost, I think in the like semis, the
I
Conference
don't know
League,
when it was in the conference league.
it was like 2 years ago, but they were
Yeah.
everyone was clowning on, because
Yeah.
what I mean, when do they ever win? But if
They
you
thought
guys
that
lose,
they were going to get a free trophy.
if you guys lose, or even tie, like you
God.
said, I mean, it'd be more banter to talk about in this podcast.
Oh my god, dude! I'd be pissed. I'd get on the pod and I'd be yelling and screaming.
Hmm.
But
I don't
that's
expect
not gonna
anything
happen.
less.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to
I
happen.
don't think so either. I mean, there's
I,
no way.
to be honest, dude, after these games, like this, you saw the team in second place was Fiorentina, and I think Real Betis are the only other really good team. Like Fiorentina and Real Betis are like the only two like
Known
big
competing
league
teams.
teams that are
Yeah.
known in this competition. So it's like, are they going to give us trouble? Like, I think if they do, it's because of those two teams.
Hmm.
If we play anybody, it's those two teams.
You got yeah. There's no way you guys don't meet one of them in
I well,
the
I
knockouts.
think if one of them gets knocked out early, it's a tragedy. Fiorentina, I think, have been involved in every single conference league up until since its inception.
Were they not in the Europa last year?
No, they've been in the conference league for the last. They made the last two finals. I'm almost certain of the
That's
conference
right.
league, and they
Yeah, they
lost them
lost to an
both.
English team, right? They
They lost to
lost
West Ham,
West
and they
Ham.
lost to Olympiacos last year.
That's right. That's right.
Right? I think so.
Yeah.
So a Greek
So it
team.
wouldn't be surprised to see them again in the final.
I mean, the fact is, if they could lose three straight conference league competitions, that would be crazy. Imagine that. I think
Chelsea,
they've had the
watch
same
watch
coach.
Chelsea be the team to lose.
Oh my
Watch them
god, dude! It'd be. I think our fan base would go crazy. Even if we're in like third place in the
in the
league, we
Prem.
get pissed.
Yeah,
It's as simple as the fact that we
it's
want
it's
a
probably
competition win.
harder. It's probably harder finishing top four in the Prem than it would for a team like Chelsea or United.
Oh my
To win
god, yeah,
the Conference League.
dude.
Just
I think these teams in this competition, some of them are worse than League One sides.
they might be, yeah.
Dude,
Uh,
I
There's no
swear
way
to
any of
God,
them would stay. If any of them were like the championship, I couldn't see them staying in the
Panathinaikos, I
championship.
bet you would finish as like a mid-table team in the championship. They would be a mid-table side.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding you. They probably spend nearly as much money a week as some of these teams do on wages.
Hmm.
So like I think it would be hysterical if you saw a team like that compete in the championship for a year, just as like, hypothetical situation. I bet you they wouldn't even get into a playoff spot.
No, there's no way.
I don't even think that's like hard to think about either. I think it's pretty reasonable. I don't think it's out of the blue to say.
No, not at all.
I mean, I think like we looked at last week. I think not last week. It was Tuesday. We looked at this, but Tuesday we looked at who we were playing in the league or in the Conference League and Europa League. That's this
Mhm.
season. And the Conference League, I think all of the teams you could say that about. Like the hardest teams we play are Heidenheim, who again they're in Germany, so maybe you have a little bit higher expectations for them. People have been kind of shitting on them. They're like people are saying that Panathinaikos were our hardest game, but I think Heidenheim will be our hardest game because it's an actual top five leagues team. But
You got what,
I,
like Noah in 2 weeks?
we have. I think it will
Or
be
two
2
match
weeks.
2 match weeks.
Uh, same thing, but
Same thing.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think it'll be the game before. It's not the game before break, but I think it's our. It might be the last game we have before the international break. I'm not. I'm not 100% sure though. We might play you guys, which might be our last game before break. I'm. Not, I'm
Mhm.
almost certain. I'm not. I'm not 100% certain though. But just because we play 6 games, I don't know if it's any different between how you space games out or not. Because
Yeah,
obviously we don't.
maybe they just have like a bye week.
I have
There's probably
absolutely no idea how
there's
it is.
probably a Champions League week, and then we know
If I had to
Europa
guess,
or
because
Conference League games.
because of League Cup games are next week, and I'm guessing that the Conference League would be the week after or something. Maybe I don't know how they space them apart.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like I, I I can't see us losing this competition. It's that plain and simple.
No, I mean,
I, come back to me
some more foreshadowing.
in May. Come
in
back to
May.
May when
Guys, we
when we're
unfortunately lost.
yeah, we unfortunately lost to Fiorentina 1-0 in extra time. Like
Yeah,
I just can't see
be
it.
the most scrappy goal of all
I
time.
think I already talked about this with you, but when you look at the 30, I think 5 other teams in the competition, they spend I think a combined total their net value of their teams are like 1.5 billion,
Yes,
and the Chelsea team itself
probably
is
worth.
worth 1.6 billion.
Yeah,
So our team combined value-wise is more than the entire competitions. I think it just
it's
proves
almost
to
not
you
fair.
that we shouldn't be here.
No,
And then we looked at the Europa.
Chelsea should have never been in the first. That shouldn't even be like an
We
argument.
debated this on Tuesday whether we should even have been on this competition in the first
Yeah,
place, and whether we thought
exactly.
that they were going to lose on purpose to Servette, but we don't know that. We don't
Yeah,
know that. But the thing is, like we looked at the coefficient table when you see how many points technically per club has in European competitions. Chelsea are like 90 points, which is like I think like ninth or something maybe in the world, something around there. which is one of the highest in the world, of course. And then the next highest I think was Batiste, who had like 20. So it's like almost like four times your
Minuscule.
value. So it's like it's ridiculous. It's insanely. It's not even like a question that we're far and away the best team in this division, and it should be basically impossible for us to not dominate all these teams. But we're talking about domination. What happened on what happened yesterday there, buddy?
Well, my prediction, like I said, we had a 1-0 win. And leading up to the halftime, I was like, we weren't looking
No,
nothing special.
by any
Nothing
means,
special.
by any
Just
means, it was
quite
not looking great.
average. Just quite average. Couple chances, half chances, nothing special. But Fenerbahce had a lot of the momentum in the first half. I mean, you
You
can
could
see
see
that.
it there.
Yeah, no, they were.
Green momentum is.
Onana had the double save.
Oh, it was incredible.
Amazing.
Dude,
Any
I
other
was
day,
thrilled.
any other day, he would have had his feet in cement. But the double save was amazing. I mean, Jose Mourinho. I mean, you saw his reaction after. He was like smiling and laughing. He was like, "How does this man
He's
even
like, how
save
does he
this?"
do that?
It was crazy. So big props to him for that, because if they scored that, they would have. I mean, they definitely would have won. And it was Ugarte that had it was a clearance inside the 6 yard box. It went up the left side, crossed in. Onana, I don't know if he missed he dove out for the ball. I don't know if he missed it or if it's too fast and he couldn't get a hand on it. But it went through like our defense, and Ugarte came from behind. It was about to be a tap in, and he cleared that ball off the line. I had him starting, and he did pretty good. He had a couple slip ups in the middle. It almost led up to some big stuff. I don't, downplay him too much, just mainly because he's kind of new, and Fenerbahce is not an easy team to play
Yep.
against. So, but other
When
than that,
when I looked at
it's like
the
7 out of 10 performance from United overall.
yeah, you think that high? Getting a,
7 out
a
of 10.
1-1 draw?
I
Ten Hag?
The way
Hag?
that Fenerbahce were attacking that first half, they could easily won 3-1. If it wasn't for Onana and that Ugarte save,
Oh,
3-1 easy.
I think Ten Hag after the game came out and said, he was like, when you go to away places like Porto and Fenerbahce and get 1 point off them, that's really good stuff. I'm like, bro, what kind of
Yeah,
mentality is
no, that's
that,
awful
dude?
mentality.
Dude,
That's
that's an
awful.
awful mentality. It's like he didn't even come in to win the game in the first place.
No.
And I thought you were gonna bring this up when you were looking over the team, but do you want to talk about the biggest like
Oh, I know where you're going.
specific player in the lineup that
The
nobody even understood?
the greatest of all time. He had to go down in the stretcher.
Oh,
My
this is
goat.
what I thought you were gonna talk about.
Oh,
This is
wait.
what I thought you were gonna talk about. But first of all, before we even get into what I was gonna talk about, can we please have a moment in silence for a fallen soldier?
Yes,
Can
our
we please
goat.
have a moment of silence
Our
for
goat.
our
Our
goat?
savior.
Our
The Messiah.
please, 5 second
Anthony.
moment of silence. Thank
It's
you.
unfortunate
Thank
to
you.
see that you have your other Brazilians, Rafinha, amazing in the Champions League.
Dude, he's
Vinicius,
incredible.
bro, I watched the highlights of the Madrid game. I was laughing because like how does he run that fast? He scored in like the 60th, 70th minute, and he just blew by the defense twice. I was laughing. I was like, this is not real. And then you have Anthony, who comes on for 14 minutes and
Dude,
gets
I don't even know. What happened
I
to
don't
him.
even know what happened. I can't tell you what
He,
happened.
I think he injured like his calf or something. He was holding his calf and he got stretchered off in the most funny way too.
Honestly,
Like,
I'm being 100% honest. There's no way he's that injured. There's no way. He probably
The
went down. He probably like maybe like just kind of it's honestly probably just a really hard hit, and because he was probably playing like Anthony, he was like, I just gotta come off. Like
The fact-
there's no pride in just staying on. So he just shamefully asked for the stretcher. You know.
Dude, the fact is alone is that I could not believe that. Now I'm going to segue into what I was gonna thought you were gonna say is Mazraoui at attacking midfield.
Oh, yeah,
I
honestly,
the
Mazraoui
re-
first half he was making some decent plays. He almost sold the goal with an like an awful pass. Almost sold it. But other than that, for someone who was signed as a fullback, not bad. Not
But
bad.
the thing is, like, why would you not even give like Amad Diallo a shot? Or why would you even not play Anthony off the rip? Like, even like
Well,
one of these youngsters, like Ethan Wheatley, I'm pretty sure could play there. Like, why wouldn't you just give one of your young kids a shot in the attacking mid? Like, if you don't think you have an option, why would you ever consider a fullback as your attacking mid option instead of giving somebody else a chance? Like, I honestly could not believe the fact that
I
his
think
lineup is this beat up that he couldn't give another guy who plays at least on the wing a chance.
I know what I had Mazraoui as a fullback, and I think we
Yeah.
had Rashford moving into that that actual 10 spot, like his freaking number is, and then we had either Diallo or Anthony or someone else on the wing and Rashford spot. But yeah, I mean, you got Diallo who was he's been there for a couple of years now. He's been there for like 4 years, and he doesn't get his start. Like
And
why?
Diallo didn't even play until Anthony. He wasn't even probably going to come on in this game,
Yeah, there's no
which
point
is
of
hard
bringing
to
someone on
believe.
in the 90th minute. I mean, obviously it's an injury, but like, what's the point?
But why did he just like Lindelof? I don't think Victor Lindelof played a single game yet this season. At least I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't even played a single game yet this year. Instead, he decided he could have just played Delo at left back, Mazraoui at right back, and played Martinez with Delit in the
Mhm.
center back pairing, and then just put somebody at cam. Like you usually put attackers in attacking positions. I don't know. I'm no
Yeah,
coach,
there's
and I
no
don't know players, but
there's no way that a winger at a professional level cannot play in the 10 position. There's like honestly a midfielder could play center back and they'd probably be fine. If you're a
I think you
professional
had in
and then you
your
put a fullback that everyone's been expecting a fullback, and when he played against Liverpool, he was amazing. He was amazing, and then they was like, oh, let's put him at number 10. I mean,
you had
he
in
was
your
saying
lineup.
he played in Cam before. They said he played and he did well, like people that actually know ball. But I mean, I don't
How
know.
many
I don't know.
years ago was this?
I'm not. There's no way.
How many years ago was that?
There's no
Like,
way it was any time recent.
did he play there? He played right back at Ajax. He played right back at Bayern. So when was the last time he's played attacking mid? When he was 16 in
Yeah,
Ajax
exactly.
Academy?
I could
Like,
not tell you.
that is ridiculous. The guy's like 27 years old now. Like, let's be for real. This is that. It was absolutely ridiculous. And like I'm gonna state it now, but before we get into the the preview of Sunday's games, I think it really is gonna be winner stays on. Lopetegui versus Ten Hag may just be winner stays on. Like whoever wins that game is gonna have a job. The one who loses is not, because that West Ham team's obviously, like I've been saying, is complete dog shit. It's horrible, and this United team. Well,
It's just as
when you
bad.
pick players that don't even play attacking positions as your cam, I think it just proves itself.
And it's kind of funny because United's problem for the past couple of years have been defense. We've had so many problems in the defensive, aspects transitioning, and we signed a defensive guy who's is great, and then we're just like, yeah, let's put him up top. Let's put him like Cam.
It's
Make that make
ridiculous.
sense. You know who would have been perfect for this role, but we got rid of like idiots. McTominay, Mick Goat.
The thing is,
Mick Goat. I mean, he
Ten
was a
Hag
striker. I know he was a striker, but we could have maybe done
Ten
something. I don't
Hag
know,
Ten Hag came out
something.
and said, I think, that he didn't want to get rid of McTominay, but the reason they did is because of the was it PSR rules, and they're like forced to sell players. And like I
Lies.
was like, there's gotta be other. If you wanted to keep him so badly, you could have just sold somebody else. You could have just sold somebody else, dude. Because I agree, McTominay, he came up in big points in last season and scored goals in crucial moments. So like, and he's been brilliant. I don't know if you've been seeing him at Napoli this season, but he's been great under Conte. I don't know his statistics, but I know I've seen him in a lot of the highlights that they
Hmm.
show over on Instagram and stuff. That he's been fantastic.
The man
So
turns up.
he does. He turns up in these big spots.
Hmm.
And overall, I was just showing the stats from this game, and basically you and Fenerbahce were basically level when it comes to your expected goals, your shots, possession was almost exactly the same. Like no one really, the a draw was the correct result. Like when it comes
Yeah,
to looking at statistics, a draw was the correct result.
I know you had to
But
draw 2-2.
I
Like I
think
said, I was expecting United to just score one goal, and that was it. Because in that second half, I mean, you saw the momentum charts. Where were they?
you
It was
guys had none. You
nothing,
guys had none.
nothing.
Oh no,
I
it was the
mean,
opposite. First half, you guys had no momentum. It was second half, you guys had all the momentum. I could literally bring it up again.
I think it was quite even though, right? It was like it wasn't really
No,
either
no, no,
way.
no, 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 no.
I thought it was the first half.
Complete opposite. The momentum charts basically, I think, is like a possession-based stat, and
Okay.
it basically tells you how
Well,
much you're going forward throughout the
you
first
know,
and second half. So,
possession don't mean nothing. You can pass the ball for 90 minutes and never
oh
score,
yeah,
and that's exactly what they did. Uh,
I think it might judge it based off of where you are on the field and how much you're on the opposite side's half. I think it might judge it like that.
yeah,
But I know I base it off how much attack.
the attacking was just sloppy. I mean, Xerxes was kind of sloppy. Rashford, they were all pretty sloppy. There
Xerxes
was a
got an
lot of,
assist, but outside of that assist, I didn't really see
like
him
I
do
said,
anything.
they almost sold. Like, luckily Xerxes was there for Ericsson, because the play was almost lost. But yeah, Rashford, it was just sloppy. They were like launching balls up there, and they were just bad, like sloppy vicinity balls. If Bruno was playing, I mean, there's no way he would have misplaced
Well,
those
Bruno
balls,
would have played attacking midfield, so it would have been funny to see what they would have done on Razraoui. He probably would have played an actual fullback role, maybe.
which might have actually got us a win. I mean, it's funny to say that Bruno. It's kind of weird to say
Especially now
how
because
vital
Bruno's been
Bruno
so
is.
poor. Bruno hasn't been good these last few
Exactly.
months, so
Yeah.
I think it might have been important to see where he was at in this game. I think you had Ericsson, if I'm not mistaken, in the attacking mid. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember, but I still think like it would have been a lot better. But the thing is that defensive line has no legs. They
Yeah.
have no
No.
legs. I didn't watch enough of the game to really see enough of their movement. But I know Ugarte and Christian Eriksen don't have much speed or don't have much agility. They're more just guys who just tackle hard. Well, Eriksen's been more of a defensive-minded guy, I think, a little bit these last few years since he's gotten older. But it's hard to say that about a guy who had the major
The
heart
hard thing,
problem.
exactly.
So, I
And
think
the
it's
fact that he's like 33.
he's like 33 years old or
Yeah.
something. I really didn't think he was going to play many
Casemiro's like
games.
42.
Yeah, he's like 79, something
Yeah.
like whatever you just said. He's old as hell at this point. So I don't know. At this point, we already had a little conversation about how their season's
I
going, and
mean,
well,
3 points, 3 games. Oof. If
they're on one.
if points were by 1 point, then we'd be amazing. But
Yeah,
we're
by Ten
clearly
Hag
not.
standards, you guys are doing really well playing again games against Porto and
Now,
Fenerbahce.
I don't know if you want to talk about this now or later. But Mourinho, this guy is. I mean, when does he miss? Are you not entertained?
Dude,
You can't take anything away. I mean, all right. Do you take, into consideration that Mourinho, like he's been coaching for a long time. So is it a Mourinho great performance by him, and the fact that he got sent off before first half, or is Ten Hag just not it? Because
personally,
I think, I don't know. I'm like iffy. Either Ten Hag's not it, or
I think
Mourinho is just him. Honestly,
I think that Ten Hag stinks as a coach and has no philosophy of how to play anything at all.
that makes sense.
But I also think that Mourinho is just
It's just Mourinho.
he's
It's just
known
him.
for his defensive style,
Hmm.
and I think that even in this game where it was like a battle of two halves where both teams just kind of did whatever. But the thing is, I don't think either one really showed enough
Yeah.
to win the game. Of course, Fenerbahce is not as good as team as you guys should be. You had former players on Fenerbahce who looked halfway decent in this one.
I know
Of
Fred got
course,
subbed off a little
yeah,
earlier.
Fred got subbed off, but
Kind of sad.
He would be
I
running that
like
midfield
Fred.
for you, man.
I
He would
mean,
be running that midfield right now.
a
I think you
lot
guys
of
made fun of
a
him.
lot of guys, a lot of fans are like, oh, Fred, it's just awful. I like Fred. I don't know. He just got a nice face. I like him.
Nah, but nothing will ever beat Mourinho in the way he talks.
Yeah,
The
no,
way
no.
that guy functions and just brings himself. You might have the quote, but
Which one? There's two.
there was one that he was he
There
talked
was
about.
about the red card, and then you want me to pull up about the red card?
You could do that. I remember when he was talking, he's like, I don't want to speak on the issue. And then he's like, well, this happened. And he's like, 100 miles per hour.
Here it is.
You got it. You
The
got it.
referee told me something incredible. He told me at the same time he could see the action in the box and my behavior on the touchline. I congratulated him because he's absolutely incredible. His peripheral vision during the game, 100 miles per hour. He had one eye on the penalty situation. He had one on the bench and my behavior. That's the explanation he gave me, and that's why he's one of the best referees in the world. I have watched the penalty incident. I don't want to speak about the incident. I don't know if he doesn't want to speak about the incident because it wasn't a penalty, or I mean, it wasn't a penalty.
Personally, after you
But
watch it back, it's not a penalty. He
yeah,
sells it
no,
to make it
I
look like a
think
penalty.
Mourinho was more mad that they didn't look over it because I don't know who the striker was, but he really did sell it. I mean, he was limping.
They
He
should have
sold
at
it.
least looked it on VAR.
I think that's what he was complaining about, that they didn't look over it. It wasn't a penalty. Maybe they told him in his earpiece it was not a penalty, but I think he wanted him to look at it, at least look
Well, the
at it.
point is, I think that VAR should have looked at it to begin with anyway. Like the way he fell erratically like that, he made it look like, especially the way
Oh
he
yeah.
came in for the tackle. Ugarte went in. It did look
Mm.
like a penalty at first. Like
There
if you're
was
not
like
looking
a
at,
there was like a slight, evermost like
yeah, but the way he
touch,
sold it made
but
it just it
yeah,
wasn't a penalty the way he sold it. Like if he fell like a little bit, more like a
just more like
a
a.
board, like a
Mm.
boosh, it wasn't. It would have been maybe a penalty, but no chance. But you have to admit, dude, Mourinho might be the funniest guy.
Yeah, no, I
Like
mean,
he's a Chad, dude.
he is one of my all-time favorite managers. I mean, just the way he conducts himself, like a post-match interview. That's the guy. That's the attitude we need on United. Someone who is not afraid to
They
talk about it. The only
he
reason why he probably don't want to talk about it is because he was gonna get a fat fine, and there's no way he's making as much money as he was making at Chelsea and United. But that's how it to me. We don't need a 1 point's good to come home with. No,
There
get
was
that
another
out of here.
quote that
We
he
need
said
Mourinho.
where he brought up like if he were to go somewhere back to the top 5 leagues or something, he
Mm-hmm.
would want to play somewhere that wasn't in UEFA competitions. I think for reasons like this again. Like, there's another quote. I think it was the exact same interview, and he was talking about if I went back to the Premier League, I'd only want to go to teams that have no UEFA football.
Is that because he's just kind of tired of doing all this,
I think in a way it might be,
or he's
but
just
I
not
also
him
think it's a
anymore?
thing where I think it's also because it's a dig at the referee, and I think it's a dig at United in a way because I think he's like, oh well, United could be a team without UEFA competitions this season, so like
Oh, they could
hire
easily.
me,
We
rehire
finished
me.
eighth. Like if
I
we
saw
didn't win the
something
FA
that
Cup,
was
we would have been out of
I saw
Europe.
something really cool where it was like him going to Newcastle, and I'm like, with all those tall players, a 5-back might not look bad at Newcastle.
I know.
They had a lot
See
of
that.
big guys in Newcastle, a lot of physical guys too, so I think it would fit pretty well there. But
Mm-hmm.
enough about Mourinho. Legend though, legend at Chelsea. I love the guy. You love him. A lot of United fans don't love him that much, but he was pretty damn solid at United,
I
dude.
mean, he had his second tier treble of the Europa, and then FA Cup and Community Shield. So he obviously won, and he's only
Yeah, he
there
won
for.
stuff for you guys.
And he finished second place against the City with 75 points. It's the most points United has gotten um, since I think Fergie, and nobody has got up to
You're
him.
probably right.
So clearly he has something going on. He was
Well,
winning.
he's obviously still a fine coach. I think
Yeah,
last year when he got fired at Roma, it was a little too early. Um, obviously, Roma ended up having a good season without him.
I think managers are or not managers. Clubs are a little more like it's almost easier to fire him because he's been fired so much that
Yeah,
they don't feel too
yeah.
much pressure getting rid of him.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a little. You look at it now, and of course, Roma fired De Rossi at the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
season. Like 4 games in, they fired him or something. Like it was ridiculous how fast they fired him. But it would have been interesting to see how he would have been still doing at Roma. But I think he didn't really like his ending time at Roma anyway, especially after they lost. I think to Sevilla in that Europa League final. After
Yeah, I mean, I actually watched that game. Roma, they should have had a penalty.
I
They should
think
have won.
they should have won. I
They
think
should
they
have
got
won.
robbed. They really
Sevilla,
wanted to have Sevilla win like whatever it
this
is
is the
their
seventh
18th.
title. I
Yeah,
think they're 7th,
18th
8th
Europa League.
title. No, they're Europa League merchants. Anything else? I say they're trash in like the Champions League and everything, but they kicked us out in like 2018. uh, but they're actually Europa League merchants, and maybe it's just my adoration for Mourinho, but they should have won that. There was a lot of mistakes in that game. They
So
should
it
have had
should
that.
be interesting to see what goes on throughout the rest of the season. I don't think that I don't think that he'll leave before the season's over.
No,
Like I think he'll finish out the season with Fenerbahce, and then maybe you might see him leave and go
I
back to
don't.
the
I
Premier
don't
League.
think. I mean, you saw the turnout he had when they signed. Like they were
Oh
like
my
going
God,
crazy
the
for him.
fans were going nuts because he's a big name.
Oh,
Man.
he's
He's
a
big
huge
coach.
name.
Probably the second. Anything about coaches that are currently coaching? Probably the second biggest name in coaching currently out there. Like Pep Guardiola is probably the only coach that you'd say is probably a bigger name than him.
Hmm.
Like I right now when I think of coaches that are like the most reputation,
Probably Tuchel, Mourinho, Pep, uh,
when I think of those
Flick.
big name guys, man, no, it's just Pep and Mourinho.
You think just Pep,
Like
Mourinho?
everybody else is a step below them.
That's true.
There's not anybody else anymore.
But I
Like
personally, Mourinho is better than Pep.
like when you
Better.
think of guys with the most reputation known to be the best, like you're thinking of your Peps, you're thinking of your Fergusons, you're thinking of those guys. You're thinking of your Jurgen Klopps. That's what you're thinking of. Like you're thinking of guys like that. But it should be interesting to see where he does go. I think that, like I said, he'll finish out the season here, and then
It would be
we'll see if he does see what he said
it would be
he'd
nice
do.
to see them back in the maybe a
I
knockout
think it's
round.
nice to see him back in the prem as well. I think it made no sense. I as a Chelsea fan, it was painful to see him at Spurs, and of course they didn't do very well with him at
Yeah,
Spurs.
I mean it's just Spurs,
But
honestly.
it's Spurs. They're very Spursy. Of course, it's impossible even for the special one. You can't be very
Yeah,
special when you're at Spurs.
no,
So, but enough about Spurs. Let's get back onto the best team in London, Chelsea, and for their game against Newcastle. Of course, a Newcastle team which is I don't think they've actually won a game in the month of October, and they've been very you can't say underwhelming because they still have a good amount of points in the league, but Eddie Howe's under a pretty good amount of pressure right now, and I think this is a game where at Stamford Bridge we're back at home, and personally, this is a big game for us too. Think about it. Think about it, Sebi. If you guys win, we lose. You're tied with points on us. Crazy sound, right? Crazy. You guys
if
would be
if
same on 14 points.
if we win and you guys lose, we're tied.
Yeah, on points.
Wow, and what place are you guys in?
Sixth
Wow,
right now.
so we've jumped from like what would be 13th or something to
No, you
sixth
guys
place.
are in I think 10th right now or something, 11th.
Still
But
bad.
you guys would still be below us because of goal difference.
Yeah,
That's
that's
of
right.
course. But we have you guys have like a negative 2 goal difference. We have like a +7. So it's like one of those things. This is a game though where we won't do the prediction yet, but we're gonna go ahead and make the lineup.
Hmm.
Of course, I didn't put in Jorgensen. I had the lineup made for the Conference League games, so it was Jorgensen. But Sanchez, I am gonna have stay in net for the Premier League. It's only too obvious that he'll keep his main Prem keeper in. Of course, Jorgensen only had that one major save in the Conference League game, but I don't think that's going to be enough regardless. Kukurea, he did play the full 90 in the Conference League on Thursday, but I think that was basically just to get his feet warm again because, of course, he did miss the last Sunday's game because of suspension. So I'm going to go ahead and keep him in. I'm not going to make a change. I think Kukurea is our best left back, so I don't think it makes much sense to change him.
Concur.
Vega, though, really good performance in the Conference League, but again, he's not amongst the starting guys yet. He's played well in his limited appearances, but it's as simple as this. Benoit Badiashile, another guy who's been playing well, but I think that the original pairing in the center defense of Colwell and Fofana both come back into the mix. Of course, Fofana missed with suspension as well, but I think that he wants to try and develop this partnership, and I think that Colwell and Fofana, it's a developing partnership, and from what they've said about the Fofana is that Maresco loves him, and they're two different guys. So I'd love to see Fofana come back into the mix. Disasi comes out, and you know who I'm putting in? It's Reese. It's
The
the
man
captain.
with glass legs.
The man, glass legs, glass hamstrings. This guy is purely got an injury these last few years, but he played it pretty well. When you think about he came straight back into a Liverpool game that you wouldn't expected him to play in,
Hmm.
he came straight back in and he played pretty well. So I think it's only right that you give the guy more playing time and you continue to start him right away, maybe play 55 minutes and then take him out, depending on how we're doing. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen again. I think that we'll see Reece James once he can start and come off pretty early. Now, when you look at this midfield, of course, Dewsbury Hall is not staying on. We're going to put on, where is he?
The
Where is he?
goats.
Moises Caicedo.
The goats.
He's staying. Of course, there's nobody better. I think him and Palmer are easily the best players of the team right now. Easily our best midfielder is Moises. There's nobody who comes close to him. And somebody who is getting close to him, Enzo's not going to stay on. I'm
Trash.
putting in Romeo Lavia. After the performance we saw last week on Sunday by these two guys, it showed that they can coexist one against one another, and they can play two separate roles. And I think that Lavia in the limited appearances again he got last Sunday, I think that we'll see this midfield again. Of course, we could see something similar to what we saw in the last game, where we see a three back and like a three wingers, and we see like kind of set up like this is like a 3-3-4. Because you're going to have Cucurella come into the midfield if it is Reece James, I'm pretty sure. Because I don't think they're going to want to have Reece James do all that running when he gets back. I think that they want to play it somewhat simple with Reece. You don't want to have the guy be out for another few months again. It's just not worth it. And then the attack, I'll leave it like this because this is how we set up in the Panathinaikos game, but I doubt that's how we'll play. Mudryk, I think, as insane as it is to take him out, I think it will be Jadon Sancho who goes on the left. It's funny, I don't think that Maresca will give him a start right away, especially after he played the full 90 on Thursday, but I don't think he'll drop Mudryk for the lineup in this one after the 3 goal contributions. I think that Mudryk will be on the bench. He'll drop somebody else.
I mean, after the point, there's no way he doesn't come in.
Oh, I have no doubt in my mind. If Sancho's not performing well, Mudryk will come on the left-hand side. It's either him or it'll be another guy we'll talk about in a second. Of course, not even a question. Even though he didn't play that great in the last game because of his man marked out of the game, Cole Palmer comes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a guarantee at this point.
There's not going to be a single game this Premier League season where I'm not starting Cole Palmer unless he's injured. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to start unless he's injured. There's no other question to it. Right-hand side, Pedro Neto is really putting it out there for himself right now to make a start, but another guy, he got subbed off pretty early in this one. I am going to start Noni Madueke in this one, though. I have a feeling it seems like one of these banter games where Madueke is going to get a goal, but at the same time, I'm not sitting here like, it's either Madueke or Neto, because I don't think Neto will play on the left side much this season. I think it'll be him and Mudryk. We did see Neto come on in that Liverpool game to play left wing, but I think that was because he didn't even have Mudryk available on the bench. But I think Madueke will play, especially because Neto played during midweek. And again, striker, it's another substitution. It's going to be for Nicolas Jackson up top. I don't think it's very much of a question. I think this is it's a good lineup. It's a very, very good lineup. Now, do I think it will happen? If I had to guess about certain players, I think he will start Reece again. Cucurella might not be there because of Malo Gusto. He might not play Cucurella for like 180 minutes. So if I had to guess, that might be one. Lavia might not play either. Enzo might start, and then one of these wingers might change. But I have a good feeling that this is the lineup for the game that'll be on Sunday. I have a really good feeling that that's at least going to be 8 out of the 11 guys. Sorry.
I mean, you know more than me, obviously, about Chelsea, but yeah. I mean, it looks a good lineup. I mean, like, it's a good problem, but, when you got all these guys that perform well, 1 or 2 games out of the week, you got some trouble, And obviously, you don't want to overplay somebody, because you could still use him in the Prem or when, the Cup comes around.
Because there's been so many guys that in the B team and the A team, because they've been performing somewhat well and the rotation's been so well, I think that, it allows for better rotation, but, it makes it so guys have to prove themselves in certain competitions to be able to be the main starting group or within the main starting group.
Yeah, the Prem is obviously,
it's
final.
The more
you want to be.
You want to be in that lineup. Of course, you'd rather be playing against good teams week in, week out than playing against Farmers League teams. Yeah. So, my prediction, though, before we hop into this United prediction for Sevi, I'm going to say we go out and we make life hell for Newcastle. I think that it's a 3-1. I think a 3-1 win.
I was about to say 3-1.
I think 3-1 is where it'll be. I'm very confident going into this game. I think the A team has to give more results. The B team has given us 2 weeks of Conference League games in a row where they've been very, very good. So, and they've scored 8 goals now in the Europa Conference League total in the 2 games. It's ridiculous stuff. So you're really coming out and you're saying to yourself, like, the A team, they've been great, but after a game against Liverpool, you got to come out A team and show why you're the A team.
Yep.
The B team's knocking on your door. Everybody from the B team's not going to come in, but certain players are going to take your spot. So you got to lock in and you got to prove why you're still there. So it's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Can't see it any other way.
United team, we'll build it for you.
All right.
First was first. Onana's not changing.
Yeah, no, there's no way. I don't even know who's our backup goalie. I don't even think we have one.
Tom Heaton, I think.
Don't even know who that guy is. No, I know I know who he is. I've heard his name floating around. But I mean, we would have had Henderson, who was actually
Yeah,
popping
Henderson's the
off.
Crystal Palace goalie.
A couple years ago, and then they had him, then they didn't have. I don't know. But Onana obviously staying. There's no way that Delate Martinez don't start in the back.
I think that
There's
you'll
no
probably
way.
see a rotation in this position. I
Yeah,
think that if I had to, just from my perspective, I think that Delo stays a right back. But
yeah. I mean, and because we have Bruno back, does Mazraoui go left back?
if you're gonna play anything, I think it would be like this. But
Yeah,
that's just up to me.
that
Um,
that's probably the way I'd have it. I mean, if Mazraoui, he's obviously playing outside back, we're gonna put him there.
I
I
don't
we
know
should.
who else your options are at wingback. So,
I don't know
like you've
either.
been doing, I think it's either you do a double center back pairing with Martinez at
There
left back
there's
again, or
there's no way that we could have also like a three and back. I don't think our center defensive
I don't
mid
think your center.
is
I don't think your
solid
Richarlison
enough.
can do that. Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
I think you'll see some. I think this would be a really good back four pairing for you. I think that Delo
Mm-hmm.
has played enough left back these recent few. I guess you could even say year.
The
He's
only,
been
the
enough
only
left
problem
back.
is Delo. I mean, he just gets a little sloppy at times. He just gets a
Yeah,
little
but
his mind.
when you have options at left and right back to use at those positions, like it's one or the other side. Like you really can't.
Yeah, and
You
I
know,
mean, left, right, outside, back. It's just not much difference other than which foot you
it's
are.
just your foot dominance. That's really what
Yeah.
it becomes. So
And he's been a left back, obviously right-footed, but he looks. I mean,
he's looked
he does a
okay
job.
throughout the season. He's looked pretty good.
Does a
So
job. Midfield, their center offensive. It's a little tricky because
good. Yeah.
was
There's only one
playing.
guy you're really making a change for. So
Ugarte was playing nice. I mean, I like Erickson.
Ericsson's on good form.
I don't know if I would switch out Ugarte or Casemiro,
It
but
really depends on who you think maybe needs a rest or who you think maybe is on best form. I think because right now I think
I
Ericsson might be
think
a decent play to keep playing, but
I think that Ten Hag will probably start Casemiro
for
for Ugarte.
so you think yeah I think it'll be kind of a similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
If he does take out Ericsson, I think it'll be because of constant usage
Yeah,
and he needs a break, which is a very honestly it's a very good chance it might happen because
I
I
mean,
think Ericsson's played
I
the
don't know
last
if
three
it
games in a row.
I don't know if it's my ego, but like how can you not be like that conditioned to play, game in game out? I don't, maybe
I
it's just my ego,
think some of it has to do
but
as
Ericsson's also
well.
old too in his
Well,
heart, so that
exactly.
makes sense.
Rotation and other things like
Yeah,
and constant injuries as well, like stuff like that.
and
You need a break on
flying.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
and
mixture
Turkey's
of a lot of factors. So
that's right. But yeah, that's how I see this defensive mid.
I could see
Um,
it being very similar.
Now the attacking four, Bruno's back. He's gonna stay. There's no way he's going
I
anywhere.
agree. I put it in for you.
Garnacho, he started last game. I guess Ten
Played
Hag
pretty
has
decently.
I guess Ten Hag has his praise, so he's gonna stay there. Rashford, yeah, he'll probably stay there too. And then up top, Xerxes kind of just I don't know, just wasn't it. I think I'd have Hoyland up there.
I agree. I think that you even saw it. I think on the Sofa score sheet, it said that Hoyland had a pretty good average rating off the bench in
And
that
in the
Fenerbahce game.
first half, I don't know which attacker was, but there was a cross in, and Hoyland. You should have seen his reaction. He was pissed. He would have had a nice sitter. He was right in on the six. No, he was screaming his head off. I mean, you could see on the camera, he was like jumping up, screaming, just like throwing fists. So that's a great reaction from a striker. So he clearly wants to score. He's clearly, um, hyped and desperate, to get goals and score. So that reaction was good, and I'd want him to start. And also, I guess him and Xerxes are kind of battling for, which guy will get the main starts. Because I mean, they're both good, but sometimes they don't perform as well as they should. So it's just a matter of who can be a bigger threat to their teams.
I think that when it comes to like I think I stated this on Tuesday, but I think Hoyland is a striker, and Xerxes isn't really a striker. Like when he talks about guys who are there for that tap in, or guys there running in behind. I don't know. I haven't seen Xerxes do it enough this year. I also haven't seen him play enough this year. But every time I see when it comes to that play, I think Hoyland's been that guy when it comes to your up front type of play. I think, like I said, Xerxes wants to hold the ball up more than Hoyland will.
And the problem I saw in the game, Xerxes kind of just getting bullied off the ball a little too much. There was I think he lost 4 duels in a row. He's just getting pushed and just bullied off too easily. So if he wants to drop in, then he's gotta toughen up, maybe do some deadlifts or something. I don't know.
He's got to do constant deadlifts. They got to do that thing where they do the what is it? I don't know what the one is. They make him do the
like a power clean or something.
Yeah, power clean or something. They got to do all those. Or
Yeah.
some shit. But I think it's a pretty solid lineup. I personally, let me hear your prediction before I say my prediction
For the goals.
Yeah, who do you think will win in scores?
West Ham. I mean, we tied to Fenerbahce 1-1, and the offense was just looking kind of meh. But like you said, West Ham is just no good.
They've been bad. No confidence right now for them.
But United just, I mean, when you say, "Oh yeah, 1 point coming home from Fenerbahce is just as good as a win," then that also shows no confidence. And I want to say 2-0, but I don't know.
I think
it's
you
just
guys
United.
are home, maybe.
No, we're away this week.
Oh, you're away. You're at
But
the
I want to stay confident. I always want to stay positive with my predictions. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna say 2-0.
2-0.
And that's kind of a reach for me. It's just a little reach.
At back-to-back predictions of clean sheets, I think is already a crazy enough prediction when your team is not doing so well. But
I think the defense is fine. The defense is completely fine. It's the attack that's not scoring. It's just making it harder for us to win.
Personally, I think it's gonna be another draw.
Another draw.
I can't see a way that you guys win 2 league games in a row. I just can't see it. So
at this point it's hard to find.
I have the exact same thing I had with Brentford. I have a 2-2 draw.
2-2.
I think you guys will get. I think both teams will score, and I think your defense is not good enough to stop attacks, even when they are really, really bad. West Ham, but I think 2-2 is fair. So 3-1 for Chelsea win, 2-2 draw for United and West Ham. Let us know what you guys think. I think that it's pretty fair when you go into this game. I think that I don't know how upset you are with your game on Thursday, but you got 3 draws in 3 games, so it's not great.
Could be worse.
It could be
always
worse.
Be worse.
It could always be worse. It could be 3 losses.
You would think one of these, you come home with a win at one point.
Yeah, you would have thought, especially after Twente should have been a win, and maybe Fenerbahce should have been a win. Porto, okay, a little bit more understandable, but
they blew a 2-goal lead, right, to Porto. Yeah. That should have been a win. Fenerbahce, I could see draw, but Twente and Porto, especially when you're up 2-0, come on, should be 2 wins.
Hey, I can't speak. We got 2 wins in 2 games in the Conference League.
You're looking good. Looking happy guy over here.
We're happy guy. I'm not dressed up, but
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for when we play against you. Woo!
It's gonna be an interesting match today.
It's gonna be a snooze fest. Snooze fest.
You guys are gonna park the bus on our ass.
Oh, probably.
So let us know what you guys think. Very good stuff today. Very happy. We'll see what happens on Sunday. I'm guessing Sunday night or maybe Monday we'll have the reactions posted on the next pod episode. I think that will either one of those 2 days, Sunday or Monday, we'll have the next one out. But thank you very much, Sebi. Thank you guys very much. See this on the YouTube. See you guys in the next one. Thank you very much. See ya.